I'm Virgilio Martinez from Central Restaurante and Lima restaurant in London. My culinary identity is defined by nature, by our landscapes, our people. I think it's based on the way we see our environment, like the way we see our sea, our coast, the highlands, the mountains in the Andes, and the Amazonia. So it's quite diverse and mixed. We've been developing our identity as our culinary identity with lots of help from different people coming from many parts of the world, Japanese, Chinese, of course, Spanish, Italians, well, and yeah, of course, the Incas who were there, and they were actually defining until now the way we see life and the way we see food. I think one of my best influences has to be my grandfather, and I say that because he was just a crazy artist and you know, with lots of ideas, and I think those things work for me. Yeah, the menus we do are based on, they're quite complex because they are based on the altitudes of Peru. How do we work that? You go to the restaurant and you have 17 courses, 17 courses which are 17 altitudes of Peru. Peru has, you know, I live in the coast in front of the sea, but then we have the Andes and then we have the Amazonia. So what we do is we just every time we go to get ingredients to source our products, we have to go up and down. So I think the best way to connect to our people, our food, our environment is just to realize that we have to do something new. So we planned to do the menu 17 altitudes. Let's say like you can have a dish at 4,000 meters above sea level, which is up in the mountains, and we planned every single altitude is gonna plan one ecosystem. So it's all about the ecosystem. So the idea is that you can experience 17 ecosystems in one visit, and we do that for the 40 seats we have in the restaurant. I believe in innovation and evolution all the time. We cannot stop. There's no excuse to say that everything has been created or whatever is happening, or we should continue doing tradition. I mean, we have to evolve tradition. Tradition has to survive. Tradition has to be kept alive. So I think we have to be we have to be innovators. We have to evolve. We have to you know we have to be full of energy to do this. Well, actually, there are many directions for Peruvian cuisine. 15 years ago, for us was amazing to do ceviches, causas, anticuchos, all these dishes, to see these dishes abroad. We're talking about maybe 20 years ago about a boom of Peruvian cuisine worldwide. Peruvian restaurants were opening in many cities. But now I think in this present time we have some other issues to be aware of. I'm talking about environmental issues and our soil, our people. So I think there is a time that the boom is just it has passed. I mean, it's something that we have to continue, but now we have to be more clever to deliver better ideas. Yeah, I think our role, of course, the role of a chef nowadays is to do a little bit of everything. We cannot just be innovators, and we just can't think about create new dishes. I mean, the dish everything has to come with a story behind, And I think we have to think also of the story behind it, and we have to think in the future. So that's why, yeah. But at the end of the day, we're cooks, and we don't have the answer. So we have to work with a multidisciplinary team. I mean, like there is a lot of responsibility in what we are doing, and I mean, like we have we are in times where people is listening to what we say. So I think we have to say very clever things, and we have to do very clever things, and we have to promote what is good. We have to promote knowledge. We have to promote education, and we have to think on people. Well, the stimulation for my creative process, of course, it has to be in nature. I mean, like every time I go to the mountains, to the Andes, that's for me. That's everything. I know it could sound like a cliche, but it is actually the Andes, the mountains, and the altitude of Peru. Well, I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated about all Peruvian ingredients, and I can tell you the story of the 4,000 variety of potatoes. I can tell you the story of the hundreds variety of grains and quinoas, or the hundreds types of races of corn, herbs, fruits in the Amazonia. So, I mean, like what's over there in Peru in our nature is just amazing, and the thing is that we know very, very little. So now, kind of we are kind of explorers now, and we have to acknowledge that we know very, very little, and that's fascinating, just to see that we are in times where we have to think about we need to feed people, but we have the food there, so we have to build something, and we have to think about it. I think to encourage the passion for the guys in the kitchen, I really have to work together. I mean, like I don't see myself just as a chef in a restaurant with a team. I see myself as a part of the team. I mean, like the team is the team. So I think what I do is what I'm doing at the moment is like working with all the people in the kitchen, and I'm just not in one station. Sometimes I take the cold station, sometimes I go to the pastry. So I think in these times you have to show your face to all the team, yeah, not even people in the kitchen, even in a dining room, even in front of the house, and at the bar, everywhere. So I think it's the whole restaurant has to be seen as a whole thing, not as a kitchen and in front of the house. I do relate to my customers very easily because actually our kitchen is just in front of the dining room, yeah, and we have in front of us we have the 40 seats. So for us it's not very difficult to know what they are feeling sometimes, what faces they are making or stuff like that. But anyway, I think we're just not cooking for 40 people. I think we're cooking for thousands of people nowadays. But we are cooking concepts now. And I think that's a lot deeper, and we have to look after that. Not only the 40 people that we feed in the restaurant and that we have to do, or we have to create an amazing experience. I think we have to do that, yeah, of course. But we have to think about probably the thousands of people that probably know something about us, and they need a service from us, and they probably need some knowledge, they probably need some help, some services, and we have to think about that. I think being connected and being connected, like one guy from Chile to Alaska is quite amazing to see that they can do probably similar stuff. They can think same way, kind of. Yeah, it's actually great, amazing, and we have to do that. But anyway, I also need this little level of surprise that probably social media has taken from us. now we actually know what's going on right now in Russia and what's going on in France, so even in Peru. So for me, it's not difficult now to speak to my restaurant and know what's going on there, and or to see some images. But yeah, this is actually good. I think we have to. I mean, all the tools that we have, we have to use in a very good way. And if we use it very wisely, I think it wouldn't be any problem for the future. Well, yeah, advices for the students. We have a lot of advices. But I think I mean, for the students, guys, you have to realize that there is a lot of commitment for people that is following this career, and I think the times where being a chef used to be cool, or used to be like something that well respected or whatever. Now I think it's not cool anymore. I think it's more a matter of commitment, a matter of responsibility. So think about that part, and then think that we can help people, and that's just one way to think, because that if you think that way, I mean, this can give you lots of energy to keep on and work for good. Well, for me, being a chef is really hardworking, and I acknowledge being a chef. Sometimes you don't see your family, don't see your friends, you don't go to parties. I mean, you work a lot. That's fine. I mean, but you get a lot back. Like when I see the smile of the people in the restaurant, when I see that I'm using an ingredient that before wasn't used, and now is kind of helping a community anywhere in Peru to evolve. I think those things are really a good. They are, of course, an amazing motivation for me. So I think that when I say like I'm working a lot, but I think we have some obligations, and now what we are doing is very, very good, and it's very emotional. So I think there's no time to think about sleeping on it. Well, it's different to know about what's going to happen in 5 years, 10 years. It's very difficult to know. I wouldn't know even if I'll be cooking. This world of gastronomy, which is changing so quick, is it's very difficult to know what's gonna happen next. Even for me, I think before, probably 10 years ago, I would have told you like I will be having more restaurants, whatever. But for me nowadays, I believe that not at all. I don't want to have any more restaurants. I want to stay in my country. And I think the evolution of if I can tell you one thing, like maybe what I would be doing would be like I'll be cooking in Peru more, and staying more in my cuisine, in my kitchen, in my Lima, in my city. Well, we are very lucky that we have the time. Well, that people, our guests, they gave us their time to come to our restaurant, to enjoy, and to, of course, eat, have an experience. But of course, we had to take advantage of that time to let them know what's going on in our territory, in our Peru, in our world. So I think, of course, now our food has a commitment, and that commitment is that whoever is in our restaurant, they have to know what are they eating, where is this coming from, and what's the traceability of all these ingredients. We're working with communities in the Andes, in the Amazonia too, and even if these ingredients are more expensive and they cost us even more, in terms of course, of money, energy, whatever. I think we got to let the people know that this is something really special, and it's making a difference. We just don't go to supermarkets to buy. We don't call suppliers to get our stuff or our guests. We have a team of 7 people going to get ingredients for our guests. So it's quite complex. We change menus, and we got to keep changing menus because we just don't do the same stuff every single day. I mean, our time is the time that nature is just playing, right? So we have to work with the people, and we see the whole thing. Of course, it has to be casual, but we see the whole thing as a performance too, and we have to play something nice for the people, because they gotta come back, but they really want to realize that they really want to know what's going on in Peru. So I think we are a big communicators of these things. I think, of course, we have an obligation with our community, with the growers, with native Peruvians, with Latin America too, actually with the world. And I mean, like, we have to work with them, and of course they feel that in the last 10 years we have improved that way of communication. Before, we used to be so isolated from the Andes and the Amazonia, so Peru was just getting probably ingredients from Lima, just from the capital, from the city, and then from abroad. But now we are kind of, using 100% of Peruvian products, which is a lot. We really want to achieve 100% of traceability, which means that we really want to know where is every single thing coming from who, and when. I think that's quite a work. So we have to. It's a work in progress, and that's what that's not only me. The whole team is motivated by that. I mean, we know so little. We have to keep learning. We need more knowledge, and we have to work now with good ways to understand how these things work. We need to work with anthropologists, historians, artists, just to understand a few things that we cannot understand. I'm talking about this multidisciplinary group that is going to give us some help. Well, of course, I mean, like, we are really concerned about what's going on, not only in Peru, in the entire world, in terms of climate change, in terms of disasters. And we don't think that we are too little to make changes. Yeah, I think that would be very, very stupid. That would be very I would think that we really have to think that we can do something, and at least we can change our little world. We change ourselves, change our little world, and we can do more changes. What is happening in the sea is terrible. In Peru, it's actually terrible. I used to be part of a community of people who live by the sea, and I used to see how things used to work, and now it's completely different. And it's been not many years. I'm talking about maybe 25 years. So if things are gonna be going that quick, I think, and we don't have this change of perception, because I don't think we can. I wouldn't say that we can change the world, but at least we have to change our perception and our mentality, and then we can change the world.